Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode.
One more episode before the year is up. I hope you had an incredible 2021 and are looking forward to an amazing new year. Well, here's some good news for the new year. The college is up and running in 2022. We have released the Renovating Retirement School, where you can become a certified merit planner or certified merit planning architect, and we are growing the team to take care of the incredible need. All the retirees out there that have been lied to, have been misled, have been trusting their relationship with their, quote, trusted professional who has them in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And there is a great, great need for honest people of integrity that are willing to be paid fairly and handsomely for telling people the truth, showing them their options, not hiding things, but truly being a fiduciary and letting them see everything that's available to them. Now, for those of you listening for your own purposes, for retirement, you're going to love today's show because we're going to talk about not growing your money on purpose, which is a tax strategy. Wouldn't it be nice to have 2-3 times the income and have it be increasing? But if you wanted to get rid of the IRS, you pay, half the tax or 25% of the tax. Wouldn't it be nice to have a low account when you convert to Roth IRA, but crazy ripping high income? Pay taxes on $300,000, but get an income based on $1 million or $2 million. That's what we're going to talk about today, and I have a special guest. And also, there's a video version of this. We're going to start putting video podcasts up at rdrvideos.com, videos with an S, and RDR stands for Retirement Done Right, which is a phrase I like to use. So rdrvideos.com, and you're going to hear today from Bobby Alford, who's the first certified merit planner at Renovating Retirement. So without further ado, and for the new year and introducing the new program for certifying you as a certified merit planner or certified merit planning architect, here is Charlie Jewett, myself, and Bobby Alford. Here we go.
Hey, welcome. My name is Bobby Alford, and this is Charlie Jewett. I am teeing this up today because I am the first official merit certified planner to come out of Charlie's curriculum. He is my business partner, my mentor. I have learned so much from this guy, but I wanted to take the chance to sit down today with Charlie, go through a couple concepts that are a little foreign to people, also some really amazing vehicles that we've discovered through our practice and through helping clients. I think we're up to about 3,000 families that we've impacted over the last few years, and Charlie's been doing this for much, much longer. But if you are new to the podcast, welcome. If you are an old favorite, an old fan, well, welcome back. We're about to blow your doors off. So, Charlie, what do you have for us today?
Well, today I want to talk about not making money on purpose. I like interesting titles. These are things that are interesting to me, and a good title always gets people to listen to the first couple of minutes, and then they learn something. So it's like the smell at a good restaurant. You walk by and you're like, "What is that?" You go in the front door and you may come in and get blessed. So, not making money on purpose. What are we talking about today? For those of you that want to see the video version of this, we can go to rdrvideos.com. RDR stands for Retirement Done Right. If your retirement is messed up, what do you do if your house was messed up? You renovate that guy, right? You knock it down, start over, or at least dig into where the mold is or whatever. If the foundation is bad, you might keep the land and start the entire thing over again. I've been doing that now for almost 18 years. When retirement plans aren't set up properly, or they're not based on a solid foundation, like, for instance, income, the highest net income after taxes, that would be a solid foundation. When they're based on a flimsy foundation, like a relationship with somebody that you like, or gambling, even with your income, hoping the market does well, or even based on growth, just the highest account's the best, the highest rate of return is the best. Well, that's not actually true, because the highest rate of return doesn't give you the highest net income to spend on lifestyle, which is what retirement is all about. I've been renovating those, or teaching people how to kind of knock those down, start over, or do whatever gigantic or small renovations need to be done to fix it and bring it up to place. So today we're talking about on the screen, for those of you that can see the video, I'm showing two different accounts. One of them is really high, one of them is really low. It looks like 160,000 versus 85. You can call it 1.6 million versus 850 grand, whatever you want. Which account is better? It's a loaded question. Like when I ask, do musicians make money? Which account is better, the big one or the small one? And what do you think most people are going to say, Bobby?
Well, obviously you're going to say big one.
Right. And the nest egg philosophy that has sort of dominated the world of investing and retirement planning for years, with Edward Jones, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, Schwab, all these big name companies, Vanguard. And those companies aren't good or bad. right? Just like McDonald's isn't good or bad. Yet somebody made a movie about eating it for every meal and kind of what happens to your body. That might not be a great choice, right? Pizza's not good or bad. Gluten's not good or bad unless you're allergic to it, right? I happen to be allergic to terrible retirement plans. So I show people the vaccine for that. You know what I mean? So we don't want to have a terrible retirement plan. We don't want to use outdated information. Retirement planning is a bit like, it's not changing as fast as computers, let's say, or cryptocurrencies, that kind of thing. Crypto, not changing that fast. It's just, it has changed, but people still remember what it was 40 years ago or what their parents did, right? And they haven't updated their own.
Really where we set ourselves apart is we focus on, hey, things have changed. The road conditions are different than they were for your parents. Even though they taught you how to drive in those conditions, it's helpful to have an advisor that works with the new conditions. And that's where you have taught me to really look at things differently.
Right. And you get that thing on your phone or your computer that says an update is available. If you ignore enough of those, your phone stops working, right? You can't be like 10 updates behind on an iPhone or something like that. You know what I mean? There's an update available for your brain. You know what I mean? And that's part of what this podcast is designed to do, is bring you up to speed with what's the newest, what's the latest. By the way, different isn't always better, but better is always different. Having something new doesn't mean you should switch to it. But if you want better results than you're currently receiving, or you want the best retirement, probably that means something different than what you're currently doing. If you hate your boyfriend or girlfriend, different is probably better, right? It doesn't mean if you're in a great relationship, it doesn't mean, different is better. And I'm sorry, better is probably different if you hate your girlfriend. If you're in a wonderful marriage, then don't switch, right? Yeah. So we're looking at these two accounts. Is bigger better? In one sense, it is. Yes, every financial advisor in the country, every retirement planner, every insurance agent that's helping with retirement strategies and products, we would like you to have the largest amount of money and success possible. We'd like you to have a nest egg. Why? Because retirement is and always has been and always will be about income. One thing. It's not growth. It's not the size of your account. A $1 account that paid you $20,000 a month would be better than having a lot of money that doesn't pay you that much. How do we know that that's true? Because we have accounts worth zero called Social Security and pensions, and people live really nicely. I know a guy on a $10,000 a month pension. His Social Security is also $3,200 a month. Neither one of them have an account value. They're worth zero. But paychecks make for lifestyles. How can people graduate from college, the ones that are lucky, and get jobs? How can they live when they don't have any money in accounts? Well, you don't need money in accounts to live. You need monthly income. That's what a job is. The replacement of a job, which we call retirement planning, the replacement of income is always income. It's monthly income. It just happens to be one of the ways. I mean, if you want to live on Social Security, if you can live on $1,200 a month, $1,700 a month, $2,300 a month, $3,200 a month, whatever, you can live on that. You don't need to save for retirement. For the rest of us listening, watching, paying attention, thinking about it, for the rest of us, we'd like to supplement, especially with threats that it's going to go down by 30% or disappear or whatever. Who knows if it will or not, but with the threats, it's certainly not comfortable. Some of us would like to have our own money, but what's it for? It's for income. So yes, in one sense, bigger is better. And don't we teach people how not losing money, not letting your account go down 20, 30, 40% when the world decides, the rest of humans decide that this fake thing we call currency is not worth it. This market, this weird fake number is not worth it. And it goes down in the fake value. And your fake number, your fake account that creates real results in your life, buys real things that you actually eat and consume and enjoy, like trips. This fake number goes down. Don't we teach on the show here that you don't have to take that ride down and take 6-7 years to recover? You can use indexed accounts. You can use, guaranteed income, guaranteed retirement income. You can use guaranteed no loss accounts. We teach that all the time, right?
Absolutely. It's like you say all the time, risk has been optional since the 90s. Nobody knows about it.
Yeah, risk. I have a problem with mantras or with traditions when the tradition becomes more important than the truth that created it. A tradition comes from a truth. Like it's so true. Gravity, it's traditional that I sit down and expect my chair to hold me, or that I drop something, expect it to go on the ground or whatever. That's sort of traditional because it's got 100% success. Gravity's always functioned. At least I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but that's what I think, right? It's very consistent. Let's put it that way. Gravity's quite on the scale of consistency. Gravity's on this side, very consistent, right? And the scale of inconsistency, we might have Latino men. I don't know. That's not fair to say on a podcast. Sorry, guys. So you have this
Now, by the way, and those old podcast listeners that are sticking around, this is the first time we're doing a video for the podcast. So you get to see how Charlie and I interact all the time when you go to rrvideos.com. This is just us normally, but now you get to see how animated we are.
Exactly.
The running joke with people that we work with is if you tied our hands together, we probably couldn't speak. But now you get to see that. So
right.
Welcome. Everybody seeing our faces.
I know, like whiteitalianguys.com to see the video here. We just move our hand. Neither one of us is Italian. I don't know. Bobby's like Indian or something. Don't you have some American Indian in you? It doesn't make any sense at all. But
I got native, yeah.
You're right. And I don't know what I am. I have the eyes of an Asian man, but I don't have any Asian in me. Something else. So and I'm learning Spanish. So I'm a mutt of all kinds. So all right. So the bigger the account, the better. Yes, 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 and no. What do we mean by the no? Having $2 million in the stock market and choosing to gamble with your retirement income, where you have to play this game of, I don't know what's safe and what's not safe, where today the estimate is about 2.8, 2.9%. Just call it 3. Let's get crazy. Let's call it 3 and round up. Oh my gosh. You got $1 million in a retirement account before taxes. You can safely take about $30,000 a year of income, $30,000 after taxes, or $30,000 before you pay the taxes. It's not going to give you a killer income in a lot of places. In addition to Social Security, sure, you can live in half the country. That's great, right? But $30,000 from that, $2 million in an account, you get $60,000 a year. That's great. But that $2 million in the competing strategies that don't have the fees and don't have the risk would pay $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, or you could just guarantee it and not even be playing the game. So having $1 million that gives you $60,000 a year is better than having, $1 million that gives you $30,000 a year. So the account size is important. We want to grow your nest egg to maximize income. But when you get there, let's also maximize income from the nest egg, right? But today, go ahead.
This is where our conversation always picks up. Replacing the income. You're living paycheck to paycheck, as you said a minute ago. You've got a stream of income. You're fine within your means while you're working. Well, when you get to a point where you step away from that job and you have 40, 50, 60 hours a week back, you've reclaimed it. Now we need to replace that stream, not so much the nest egg. We need to replace the stream in a way that you can count on it. And the assets under assets under management crowd, the mantra, they're never going to talk to you about the stream. And that's exactly where Charlie and I and the Merit advisors set ourselves apart. Because we want to focus on your quality of life to and through retirement. Like you say, make your golden years golden. And that's all going to come down to the stream of dependable income.
Exactly. So yes, we want the account to be big. I've switched screens for those of you watching the video, and we're just going to look at an account, an example of not losing money. An account over here, this has been averaging 11.36. I don't expect that. Neither does Bobby. This is measured over the last 10 years. And the last 10 years has been very unique, but having a no risk account that's averaged 11.36 is awesome. You want to take advantage of those amazing years in the market and then not lose any of it when the correction comes. That's the whole point. Couldn't I have made more somewhere else? Yes, but could you keep it? And is it safe to take an income from? First answer is we don't know. The second answer is no, it's not safe to take an income, or I'll tell you when you're dead if it was safe, if it worked out or not, right? You can't know, which is not very peaceful. So here's an example of an alternative to the stock market where growth, we want growth. Put in $250,000. Over here, you see the account, grow, 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 grow. Over here, I have to move my video here. I don't know how many, what year is this over here? How many years? I've got 50, you got 10. So over a 20-year period, this thing turned into $1.5 million over 20 years. That's awesome. 250 grand, right? 250 grand to $1.5 million. That's awesome. That's what we want money to do, unless it's pre-tax money. If this is pre-tax money, like most people have in their retirement accounts, 401k, 457, 403b, IRA, right? Those types of things. TSA, a pension account that you got as a lump sum or whatever. If this is TSP, if this is yet to be taxed money, the more you grow it, the more you owe in taxes. And here's what's interesting about the partnership with the IRS. Those of you that listened to the podcast in the past have heard me ask the questions, do you think taxes are going up or down? Most people say up. Why? Because the country's broke. They can't afford Medicare, can't afford Social Security. Taxes are lower than they've been in an eternity. And they're every day. They're talking about raising taxes. The country needs to. David Walker quit his job as the CPA for the government. Basically, that's called comptroller, and travels around saying they have to double taxes or cut benefits in half. Well, those of you who think that the government politicians are going to cut benefits in half, kind of punish the voting population called the baby boomers and cut their paychecks in half while they're voting, you can go a different route. The rest of us don't think they're going to do that they're going to, of the two choices, like they've done in the past, raise taxes or upset the voting public by cutting their Social Security and not giving them Medicare. Those of us that are just looking at the track record of humans called politicians, we think they're going to raise taxes. So if you think taxes might go up and you want your income to go up and have an incredible lifestyle, well, higher income means higher tax bracket. Higher taxes means higher taxes per bracket. So if you think taxes are going to be higher later, a lot of people say, let's get rid of the IRS. How do you do that? It's called Roth conversions. The problem with the partnership with the IRS, besides that taxes might go up, is here's how the partnership works. You say, hey, partner, Mr. IRX, howdy, partner. Hey, I might have $1.5 million. If I listen to Bobby and Charlie's team, I might have $1.5 million in 20 years. When I'm 70 or 72 and I'm forced to take money, whenever you choose to take money, I might have a bunch of money. How much do I get and how much do you get? I understand this arrangement where, like you said, I don't have to pay taxes when I put in $2,000, $6,000, the tiny little amount. You let me save taxes on this tiny little that I put in, right? But when I take out the big giant, wah, 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 I don't know what these noises come from, and wah, 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 I don't know how that means big. It sounds really good.
That's how the government talks. Yeah, I've heard it.
You've heard the government. That's right.
For a long time.
Exactly. So it sounds like the parents on the Peanuts videos are wah, 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 wah. That's what I hear when I'm on hold for 3 hours with the IRS. So they have this giant account, and you ask your partner, the IRS, you say, by the way, whenever somebody's name spells theirs, you want to be careful, right? The IRS, theirs, right? Even there's a bunch of different ways to spell that in the English language too, and it's the one that means it's theirs. That's terrible. So you say, how much do you get and how much do I get? And they go, oh, don't worry about that. No, I am worried about that. Like, this is the long-term partnership. The money gets bigger. If I make smart decisions, or with Bobby and Charlie's team, it never goes backwards. It's always going to be the same or bigger. Bigger's the probability. If it's going to be really big, how much do you get and how much do I get when I need it the most? When I don't even have a job anymore and I have to live forever. Mystery medical expenses, mystery inflation, mystery amount of time I'm going to live. I really need to know how much you get, how much. There's a lot of variables. Let's make sure you're not one of them. How much do you get? How much do I get? And they go, that's not how we run the partnership. The way we run the partnership, and we always have, is that we wait until then, we look at our bills, and then we tell you how much of your money we get and how much you get to keep for that difficult time in your life during retirement. You go, wait, hold on, time out, big boy. I don't know if the IRS is a boy but big girl just sounds offensive. I don't know, big boy, right? Girls don't talk to each other that way. Only men, like, hey, what's up, fatso? You don't hear that with the ladies. They're kinder. We don't do that. So you go to hey, big boy, I have a problem with that. Time out. You telling me this arrangement is I save taxes when I know what they are on the little contribution, and then on the gigantic distributions when I'm taking out enough to actually live on an inflated expenses 20 years from now, when it's double, triple, quadruple. You're not going to tell me what the taxes are, and they're based on your bills and whatever you can force through Congress at the time, based on the needs of not just my family. Like, my retirement plan is about me and my family. You're going to tell me how much money I get from my money is based on the needs of every family in the country, or you as a consumptive organization called the government. You're right.
So I'm going to go on my soapbox here now, because this is a spiel I go through all the time. The tax bracket system, or the tax system we have, is a racket. Why would anyone give you a discount on taxes today in order to pay them and pay them off in the future? It's because they believe that they can get more from you later. They are investing in your nest egg by giving you a discount today in order to grow it long term. Now, I ask this to clients all the time. Do you think taxes are going up or down? Or are they the same? Are they going to say exactly the same? Well, the answer depends on the person. Most say up. The short answer is if you think they're going to go down in the future, put every dollar you have into pre-tax, because if they go down in the future, it's less of a bill. If you think they're going to go up in the future, every dollar goes into smarter investments that get rid of your relationship now. And if you think they're going to be the same, it really doesn't matter. But in order to protect yourself, taking what you have now as a bill and dealing with it now, when you know what to expect, is way better than the future. And then the last part about the relationship you have with theirs, the IRS, is that you don't control any factors in that relationship. They tell you how much you're going to pay. They tell you when. If they want to lower the RMDs, the required minimum distributions, they can do that. They can make you take it out sooner. If you get too much of a nest egg and you don't want to tap into it, it wants to be a pass on to your heirs sort of relationship, they're going to tax it when the heirs get it. It's all in their court. And that's where Charlie and I want to put that power back in your hands. So we have many strategies to do it, but that's my soapbox. That's where I get my.
You sound good on your soapbox. It's easier to hear you when you're up there. Was there a time that people bought so much soap that you needed a box? Like an Irish Spring, I couldn't stand on it. I need two of them. The boxes are little. Was there a time that soap was sold, that we have this expression, stand on your soapbox, that soap was sold in giant boxes?
Yeah, it must have been horse soap, like carried around to the horses and clean them there.
And stand up on it. Right, for people preaching sermons to horses, it's stand on their horse box for some reason. Okay, so I wrote, for those of you watching the video, I wrote in the second, you put $250,000 into a really good no loss account, and in year 2 it's worth 305 on the historical returns here. By year 20, it's worth $1.5 million. Well, if you wanted to get rid of the IRS, which is called Roth conversions, we're not going to do a show on Roth conversions, but the way you break the partnership, just like how do you leave a marriage? It's called a divorce proceedings, right? The way you break the partnership with the IRS that says in the future, you get to decide what your bills are and then take as much of my money as you can get passed through Congress, no matter how big it is. The way you break that partnership is called Roth conversions. You either all in 1 year or slowly convert to Roth from IRA to Roth IRA. And it doesn't matter if you have 401ks, 457s, TSPs, all that, wherever you move them. The first time you move them, they become an IRA and then you do Roth conversions. Well, if taxes don't go up, if they're just 33%, now that might be high, might be low, it doesn't matter. I just easy math. If taxes don't go up over the next 20 years, then a third of the $300,000 account's about $100,000 to get rid of the IRS. If you wait till it's worth $1.5 million, it's about $500,000, $500,000. But if taxes do go up and you're taking out big chunks of money and putting you in the higher brackets, this could be $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. So normally speaking, yes, everybody in the industry, including our team, wants to grow your accounts to the largest number. We believe that we do it better without losses. And it's not some weird narcissistic arrogance where we look at ourselves and say, we're better than the other guy. There's math involved, like a bigger number is better.
We do that as well.
Right. Not on video. Although we always dress like you told him, this is what every day looks like. Like we dress like Leave It to Beaver. We dress like this all the time, not just on video. I always wear button up. I'm not wearing a tie, so that's good. So yes, normally the account being bigger, but what I want to show you is how there are times, very much on purpose, and it's not just us, the companies that are creating these tools are thinking for you. They're playing the game really well. The entire code, the IRS code, they're not even an enemy, but the opponent giving us the rules for how we win. Literally, like 40 pages is how you fill out your tax return. The rest of I don't know how many pages it is, but it's like 40 times more words than the Bible, right? The rest of it is, hey, here's how to win. Here's how to not pay taxes. It's a game. It's a game. Now, I don't like reading. I don't like reading how to play Sorry when I forget, or Monopoly, or any of those games. Like when I get a new game, I don't like reading it, but it helps to read and know the rules and understand them, right? So for those people that understand the rules, there are literally accounts today for pre-tax money where the entire goal is that your account does not grow. Wait, time out, Charlie. I thought you guys were retirement planners and compound interest was the eighth wonder of the world. And you're trying to grow your accounts, not your gut. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but yes, you don't want a big gut. You want a big bank account, a big retirement account. So yes, you want these accounts big, but not if that's the number the IRS uses to charge taxes for the divorce from the IRS for Roth conversions. So for those of you watching the video, I'm going to go ahead, clear the screen, boom, switch over to if I can figure out how to do it.
How could they not be? How could they not be determining your taxes off the higher number, Charlie? That's crazy.
Thank you. Thank you for asking, Mr. Soapbox. You sound good up there. It's a large bar of soap you're standing on. What do you wash with that thing? Dinosaurs. Forget horses. It's a dinosaur soap. So you go over here and say, here's a competing. Now, I don't care about these companies, right? So we looked at Athene, which I use all the time. We looked at Allianz, I use all the time. There's 5 or 6 other amazing companies. I'm sure, and I use Athene every week. I'm just showing you different reasons to use different companies. One of the things we've been doing a lot, because remember, retirement, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Bobby doesn't know. Your advisor doesn't know. The market doesn't know. Long life, short life, rough life, sick life, and into the next life. You have to be ready for all of it. You can't just gamble and say, well, I can have an income if the market goes straight up forever and doesn't adjust like it normally does. That's not a plan. That's ridiculous, right? So look at this account. For those of you that are watching, you can see this. I will talk you through it. For those just listening on the podcast, look at this account. You put in, it's a competing account, just like the other one. You put in $250,000. Awesome. Here you have something called accumulation value. For those of you that understand a little bit, that just means account value. Why do they change the word for some? I don't know why. You don't have to know why. I'm learning Spanish and there's a lot of questions I have like, why do they do it that way? And you don't need to know why. It's not a useful question. That's how they say it. That's the way they do it. Okay. So this is the way that some companies call account value, accumulation value, what you've accumulated it to. They might say, why does somebody else call it account value? All right, enough of that. So this thing does not grow very much. It is on purpose. You're literally signing paper telling them, if I make 10%, don't put a lot of it in the account where the IRS is going to punish me. Don't make me look rich on paper. All right. By the way, if you study tax strategy and wealthy people and businesses, the entire game is basically be rich, but follow the rules and don't look rich. When you die, have estate planning, have it hidden behind so many layers that no one even knows where it is, how big it is, and can't get it. Be rich, don't look rich. This is another example. Go ahead.
To your point a moment ago, this is nothing that's not known. And even be rich, don't look rich. That's how the IRS code is written. They want you to do these things. It's just that no one tells us how to do them. And that's what we're trying to do here.
And there's reasoning. The first person who trained me, Douglas Andrews, 17, 18 years ago. Thank you so much, Doug, for all that you taught me, right? But what he taught me 17 years ago, there's a reason. And it helps inside the brain to understand. The IRS isn't stupid. Like, why are they giving us the rules? That's dumb, right? It doesn't work in your brain. If you own your own home and they don't have to care for you, the government doesn't have to pay for your housing through programs, you get a tax deduction for paying your mortgage interest. If you'll give to charities so that those churches and charities will do service work and those people don't have to be on welfare and government programs, the government says, thank you for helping with the burden, and you get a tax deduction for that. I don't know why being married gives you a tax deduction. Right? If you don't sleep around and spread AIDS, I don't know what that means.
The point of the marriage deduction was quite simply so you'd have children, and then you have more taxpayers. That's the whole point of the marriage bond in the IRS code.
Wow.
So just so you know, that's where it all came from.
Procreation incentive. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. They should play like Barry White music when talking about that part of the tax code. I need a new sound engineer since it's me and I don't know how to add the sexy music right now. Well, I guess I could figure it out before final publishing. Who knows? But with video, I don't know how to do video. No, I don't know how to do it. So there's a reason behind these things. There's even a reason behind the two different philosophies of tax, which is raise taxes so we get more revenue. That gives the IRS more money. Or lower taxes, incentivize people to grow their companies and do more business and buy things and invest, because then everything is worth more and we get more sales taxes, or we get a lower tax on a larger number. Which one's right or wrong? I don't know. The Democrats and Republicans can fight about that until I'm dead and long after that. I don't know. I don't even know if I believe in right or wrong anymore. So I don't know who's right or wrong when it comes to this argument about which way of taxing people functions better. You certainly can see in the behavior of humans, particularly businesses, if you raise taxes, or just take Ronald Reagan, he would not work past 6 months because they were going to take 94% of his income. There's some point where people go, that's too high. I won't produce anymore. That's a reality, right? We've seen that. Where is it? We don't know. So anyway, so if you look at this account on the screen, for those of you that are listening, the account starts at $250,000. 20 years later, it's only worth $135,000. And by the way, that's with taking some income out of it. So before we took income out of it, the highest it ever got was $308,000, about what the other one was at year number 2, right? Well, Charlie, how do I live? How do I pay my bills? Where's the money going, right? This isn't simple. This isn't easy, but we don't want spaceships to be easy. We don't want medical professionals to be easy. Simple's not the answer always. I like it in teaching. I like to make things simple. So let me make this simple and say, I don't understand my car. It just functions amazingly. You don't have to understand this. It's just going to make your life awesome. Just let it be the engine that it is and let it function. They are going to, if you make $50,000 in interest, put a little bit of it in the account that the IRS says you have to pay taxes on. And they're going to put most of it into a fake number that now every investment company that has retirement planning tools that are worth using has these accounts with 2 numbers, a real one and a fake one. What do they call the fake one, Charlie? I don't know. They all try to brand it and call it their own protected and shadow account, benefit base. It doesn't matter what it's called, right? Like, well, I don't know. It just doesn't matter. We all Right. We all have different names and we're kind of human, right? Like we're human and we have names. This is a fake account. What do they call it? I don't know. They call it something. It's a fake account. So if we look at this one here, for those of you listening, by year 6, it's worth $500,000. By year 12, it's worth $1.1 million. By year 20, or the year before we start taking income, it's worth that same $1.5 million. Here's the difference. In current tax law, can they change it? Sure. But in current tax law, if you want to get rid of the IRS and pay them to go away, you have to pay taxes based on this one here, the low, super low on purpose, the one that's not making money on purpose. That's the name of the title of this podcast episode. That's the name. Don't let this account that they are going to tax grow. Play the game that they've given you the rules ahead of time to play, how to play. Play the game by the rules they gave us. They say we are going to charge you taxes on this account, not the other one. So if you look at this, Bobby, things only worth $308,000 before when the person turns 67, retirement age. You don't have to wait till then. I'm just showing a number. And on the other side, the fake account is worth $1.5 million. So what are these 2 accounts? What do they mean? Well, let's talk about the easy one, the one on the left that everybody understands. The account, your account at a bank, at a stock brokerage firm, custodian, whatever, at an annuity, whatever it is. The account is what your family gets if you die and what you have to pay taxes on if you convert it to Roth IRA. If you call up and say, make it a Roth, they got to do the whole $308,000. What is this company and a lot of the other companies competing in this space that understand that people want to do tax planning, they want to get rid of the IRS? What comes from this giant fake number, $1.5 million? Number one most important thing, your guaranteed pension income for life. You get to live like you have the $1.5 million. And you can see that here. Income starts at 62 grand a year, then it goes to 73, then it goes to 89. It's an increasing income, also very important. Most tools don't do that. However, what else have they added? You're like, they thought of everything. Yes, they did. If you die, your family's going to be given a choice. I'll put a big question mark here. Big choice. Do they want the tiny little number, $308,000, all up front? Or would they like the big number, 1.5 million, over a 5-year period? I don't know, Bobby. Let me think about that. Do I want 308,000 once or more than 308,000 every year for 5 years? They've created a death benefit. And yes, we do in our firm use this as a life insurance alternative for uninsurable people or to create long-term care type accounts. It's not a long-term care policy, but turning on $60,000 a year of guaranteed income, doesn't that give you $5,000 a month to pay for whatevs, right? That can be long-term care, right? So this can be a death benefit of 1.5 million. It create a ripping high income based on 1.5 million. Okay. Emergency fund, not really. Your account's only worth 308. You need to do that in a different part of your nutritional plan, right? You've got to have something else that's doing the liquidity piece or the what if I want to buy a smoking hot piece of real estate. That's coming from somewhere else. This is take care of really high income, really high death benefit, really, really, really low account for what? For Roth conversions. I'm going to clear the screen one more time. Those of you listening, after you take income, this is what's interesting. Your account's only worth $308,000. but you're getting an income based on $1.5 million. So the income's really high. It's like 60, 70 grand. Well, 60, 70 grand coming out of $308,000 doesn't last very long, Bobby, right?
Nope.
We see a couple of years later, the account's only worth $44,000. Again, you can see the video at rdrvideos.com. That stands for Retirement Done Right Videos, rdrvideos.com. It's the YouTube channel where all these videos are going. This thing's only worth about $45,000, yet you're making $89,000 a year of income estimated. When it runs out, you still get the income. This is one of the tricks we teach you foundationally in your retirement. Never have your retirement set up that when you run out of income, if the market's not nice and you run out of money, you run out of income. Run out of money, fine. Don't run out of income. And you can't do that with the big companies, Edward Morgan Lynch. You can't do that with your self-invested portfolio at Vanguard or Fidelity. You can't do that with stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. When you're out of money in the bank, when you're out of the money in the brokerage accounts or mutual funds, you're out of income. You have to buy that insurance, and it costs zero in some companies. They don't charge any fees. Other companies will charge you a small fee to your kid's inheritance to raise it every 2 years and give you an increasing income. Is it worth it? I don't know. We'll decide when you see your options and pick the one you love, right? You want increasing income and charge your kids a 1% a year on their inheritance, or you don't want it. Doesn't matter. But the key here is this is now so low, Bobby, right before it hits zero. If you let it hit zero, it's too late. That's the tax planning. Right before it hits zero, it's only worth $45,000. Current tax law says, brace yourself. If you're driving, you may want to pull over. You're going to crash. Current tax law says you can convert that to Roth, pay taxes on $45,000 of extra income this year. So you're fully converted. The account is now a Roth IRA in completion. It's completely Roth IRA. This $89,000 a year of guaranteed income that also goes up every year. Those of you watching the video can see by the time you're 80, it's up to $150,000 a year, basically. This becomes tax-free for the rest of your life because it is income from a Roth IRA. The point here is that the IRS says we're going to charge you taxes on the account, but the investment company or insurance company offering it by the same rules is allowed to pay you guaranteed income or guaranteed increasing income based on the fake account. And if you switch to Roth by paying on the tiny account and you obey that rule at the IRS, over at the insurance company or investment firm, they pay you tax-free income for the rest of your life on the giant account. And we just created $89,000, $100,000, $150,000 a year of tax-free Roth IRA income for a total cost of $15,000 to get rid of the IRS. So why would any human, Bobby, from what we've learned here today together, dressed like Leave It to Beaver, from what we've learned today, why would any human want to not grow their money?
So number one, I'm going to add a quick comment here, because if you're watching on video, and this is the first time Charlie and I have done a video, I think he's going to love it. He gets to whiteboard while he's talking to you and highlight, and it's going to be an exciting time for him in 2022. This is our first video of the year, and it's going to be great. So make sure you comment and like and share this stuff, because I'm going to make sure he keeps doing these. Number two, to answer your question, why would anyone want to keep it low? It's because we have just talked through an amazing opportunity to take complete control of your retirement through vehicles nobody usually talks about. And by planning this out, now, the questions that I had, I'm going to go off another soapbox here, Charlie. The questions that I had for you watching the video or you listening at home is, this has to be too good to be true. That's more of a statement than a question. But I said, how can this work? The answer is by creating a crediting strategy within the company. The company can agree to pay you whatever they want, and the crediting doesn't affect what the IRS does. Mm-hmm. So the actual account that the IRS is concerned about is that left column that we've been talking about. It is the column that's growing at 50% of the market returns, and that's fine. But the other column, the credited column, what each company calls different, an income, a nest egg, a warm fuzzy feeling, whatever they want to call it, that's what they're going to pay your guaranteed income off of. And it does not matter what the IRS thinks of that column. That's you, and that's what an annuity or life insurance agreement is. It's you and the company agreeing to something. In this case, the IRS is concerned about that left column, and we have beautiful strategies built around Roth or converting anything. But in the right column, you have now taken control of your family's retirement and basically the rest of your life. Whether you turn this on at 50 59 and a half, or you turn this on later on in life because you're going to live to 300, that's fine. But the idea is that you take control. And that's absolutely what this will do for you and your family because of people like Charlie and I bringing this to your attention.
Exactly. And I think we might even have something like this in California, but let me make up a mystery version of it, whether we have it or not here. Is imagine you buy a piece of property and they say your property taxes are based on your purchase price and they will never go up. That's a tax arrangement. You say, but if the house appreciates and you sell it, you get to keep that huge giant value, but your property taxes were based on the low number. That's an example of two different numbers where one's not going up with the other one. All that these companies have done is say, what is the IRS? What are the rules? How do we use the rules to give retirees or investors what they really want? Why? These are capitalistic companies. The why is so that you will give them your money and they can make a profit on it, make an arbitrage. They use arbitrage models. So they can hold your money for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, hopefully until you're dead. We understand what they want, the investment companies, insurance companies want. They want people transferring giant accounts and doing all of their saving with them to get our money away from stock sponsored mutual funds that have the history, have the track record, have the comfort level, and have the relationship where the ridiculous advisor who's crushing you takes you out for golf and breakfast, and therefore you are afraid to leave him, which is a reality I deal with every day of my life, people being afraid to leave their friend who's hurting them. That whole reality, they have all that. So what do they have to do to get you to move all your money over to them? Give you exactly what you want. Has every company in the world that wants your money done a good job creating what you want? No. All the companies that have crappy products don't. Are there some places, some companies, like for instance, the number one company in the retirement planning space for this type of tool? Why are they number one? The company that gets the most money. Have they done a good job giving the consumer, the investor, the retiree, the pre-retiree, all of what they might want? The answer is yes, by just studying the tax code, studying retirees or investors and saying, what are the rules and what do they want? That's all we're talking about. A marriage of, is there reason you want to have a big account? Yes. High income that lasts forever. They take care of that with a fake account. Is there a reason that you'd want to have a low account? Yes. Roth conversions. So you don't pay a lot of taxes. Problem is a low account doesn't give you high income. It doesn't last forever. Can we have the best of both with some complexity, some thought, like hiring a nuclear scientist or whatever to come in and structure an amazing house that you don't understand how it works, but you walk in the room, and I guess we just have this now with Siri or whatever, with like smart houses. Now we already have it, right? We don't need the nuclear scientist. But can you use intelligence and technology to make really cool things in life? The answer is yes. We now just have that in the retirement planning space. So who's this for? By the way, if you already have ridiculously high IRA balances, like over $1 million, there's other rich person strategies where you can pay like 1/10 of the taxes for Roth conversions. That's easy. That's like a piece of cake. But for somebody that has normal size accounts, let's say under $1 million down to 20 grand or whatever, and they're yet to be taxed accounts, and you would like to have ripping high increasing income, but have it be tax free because you're afraid that taxes are going to go up in the future. That's who this is for, Bobby.
Absolutely. And this is, if you agree with what we're saying, you think taxes are going to go up in the future, you want to be proactive, and that this tool sounds maybe too good to be true, then that's a great reason to start a conversation with us. You're going to find our information down below. We're going to be making more of these video podcasts as I get Charlie on board with the whiteboarding and the circling. He loves this stuff. But I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. And this, I think, is going to be an amazing tool in your arsenal of building the retirement that's right for you. Not right for everybody, but right for you.
It's right for some of the money for some of the people. And that's who should use it, right? Awesome. Well, the reason, Bobby, I'll go ahead and take over for the ending, because the reason we do this, the reason we switched to video, the reason Bobby is here as the first, graduate of the merit planning certification and running the team, the college, for merit planning and for renovating retirement certified individuals. The reason we do this is because we think you people are the best. Woo, peace.
Peace. Love it.
Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett.
But that's all, folks.